Hello, welcome back. In this video, we're going to have a quick look at how we allocate the various different units within the system to pupils, and how we can then remove access to those units during times which they're not completing the assessed evidence. So a good example of this is during the community challenge at Key Stage 4, where pupils are allowed access to the e-portfolio during the time which they're putting their evidence together. And during which time that they're curating and developing their evidence for that number of guided hours, but we aren't allowed to allow them unrestricted access to it at all times. So very simply, what we have to do is turn access on and then turn it off again at times when they are not allowed to access that particular feature. So let's have a quick look at how that works in reality. So we're going to start then by going back to the course, finding the course that we're working through. So in my example here, it's the consortia training course. Again, it's the administration panel that we're going to work with. And again, we need to look at users. So if we click on users and go back into our groups, you'll remember from the last video that my group, the Key Stage 4 group here, I changed the membership of that group. And this group now is the group that I want to put into the community challenge because I've got a lesson coming up now. I want to make sure they've all got access to the portfolio system. So if I now click on groupings, what you'll see is the variety of different module types down the left hand side here, those that are relevant to you in terms of your particular centre. And the unit that I'm looking for my learners is the Key Stage 4 Community Challenge. Now currently, if we look down the list, the groups that have access to the Key Stage 4 Community Challenge are currently 2015 Key Stage 4 GJ. So I want to make sure now that my group has got access to this particular unit. So if I click on the sort of icon there with two people, which says shows groups in grouping, what I can now do is I can add my group to the community challenge so that they can then gain receipt of their e-portfolio. So if I go scroll the list here and find Key Stage 4 JK, my group, click on them on the right hand side and then add them here, what you can now see is this has two members or two groups that are membership of this particular challenge, which are the Key Stage 4 GJ one and the Key Stage 4 JK one. So I don't have to move all of my people individually across, I simply move the group across to give them access to the portfolio. So it's very quick, very simple. If I go back to groupings now, what we should find if I scroll down is indeed that for the Key Stage 4 Community Challenge, both groups now have access for that particular period of time. Likewise, when the session finishes, what I'll then need to do is go back into the groups and grouping here, click on my group and remove their access to the community challenge. Do this as soon as we can once you've completed that particular session with the learners. As soon as you've done that, regardless of whether or not they can remember their complex passwords, they won't be able to access the e-portfolio because you've restricted access now by taking it away. Likewise, you need to remember before the next session to click on your group and add them back to the community challenge so that they can complete this particular task. So obviously, where you're going to need to do this is where there is control on that particular task for the development of evidence. Okay, so in the example there is the Key Stage 4 Community Challenge. This is also true for the post-16 enterprise when they're developing their sort of submission for evidence within that part of the system. Okay, so that's very simply how you can give access to particular modules within the system and then take it away again once you've completed the session.